So Kevin Hart's crash, that horrible accident that really when you see the photos, everyone is wondering how in the world they all survived. Kevin and the two other people were in the car with him.
You've seen people die from far lesser car accidents than that. Scary situation.
So we know that Kevin had surgery on Sunday night, and we got actually an update on his condition from his wife, who was at the hospital. But right now we want to talk about the investigation into what went wrong in this accident. How did Kevin's car end up? This is a vintage muscle car that he just bought back in June. I believe it was in June for his birthday.
1970 Plymouth Barracuda.
How did it end up off the road, 10 feet off the road, in a ditch with the roof collapsed in on it? And we've spoken to one witness who lives in the area and actually heard what happened early Sunday morning. This was at 12:45 in the morning on Sunday. And what they had to say to police is part of this investigation now. So the witness told us that they heard tires screeching, and this is, for people outside of LA, you know, this is out in the hills, it's very quiet. This is not, there's not a lot of traffic out there, certainly not at that time.
It's not the 405 highway, right? You'd probably be one of the only cars on the street, right? And you would hear if something happened.
Which is why this person says they thought it was odd because they heard tires screeching, and then moments later, they heard the car, they heard more tires screeching again, and then the crash of the car going through the fencing. The witness says that it was odd just because they don't hear that kind of thing.
And you can see, Charles, when you have the pictures up there, you see like the burnt rubber, the skid mark on the street, and then the car goes right through the fence. So you can imagine the tires squealing and then hearing the crash of the fence.
Now, what the Mulholland Highway is famous or infamous in LA because it is a very winding road, and a lot of people do drive at high speed there. But it's important to note here that Jared Black, who was Kevin's friend who was driving the car, his fiancee Rebecca was in the back seat, but Jared was driving, and police say he had just turned onto Mulholland Highway, so he wasn't speeding down Mulholland Highway. He was at a dead stop.
Right. You know what, Charles? I spoke to police this morning. What happens is they're going to look at everything. Speed is definitely a factor, including what the witness said. They're going to look at it. Also, there were things that Kevin might have been driving. He was not. The driver, when police got there, the driver was pinned in and they had to cut the roof off. Fire department had to cut the roof off of the car.
Right. My question, Dennis, is if they just made the turn, presumably they wouldn't have been going at a high rate of speed because you just made the turn.
To me, it sounds like that's when you would have heard the tires screeching as he pulled off. And again, police haven't confirmed this yet. This is all part of the investigation, but if that's, you know, where the tires screeching is, that he pulled off from a dead stop and then lost control for some reason. We don't know. We also don't know
if anything went in the road or there was some type of reason that could have happened.
Right. And these really powerful cars, they're hard to control. There's a lot.
That car is got a lot of engine behind it. You know, you step on the gas, it goes even a little, and you could fishtail. Anything's going to. The CHP is going to look at this and they'll determine what happened.
Right. And I also think if it's not your car and you're not used to driving it, it's new to you. Maybe you don't know the power that it has. Right. And you punch it a little bit and there you are, off the road.
So as you've probably heard, Jared, the driver, was airlifted to UCLA Medical Center once the first responders got on the scene. Kevin went to a different hospital and had surgery on Sunday night. On Monday, we got this video. Anika was walking back into the hospital. Looks like she'd just gone out to grab coffee, had probably been there all day overnight, Sunday and overnight after his surgery. But here's what she had to say about Kevin's condition.
How's Kevin doing?
He's great.
Is he gonna pull through fully, you think?
Yeah, he's gonna be just fine.
How are his spirits?
He's good.
He's good?
Everybody's good.
All right.
That's it.
All right. Anything else you can tell us about his condition?
No, I'm not saying anything. He's fine.
He's all right?
Awake right now?
He's awake.
Is he laughing and joking at this point? Not much? All right, give him our best.
Yeah, I think it's too soon for laughing and joking
after
for Kevin because,
surgery.
Again,
but we don't know still the driver's condition.
No, we haven't heard about the driver's condition. We know that
to airlift him, it had to be very serious.
Right, and police described his injury as a major back injury, just as Kevin had a major back injury. Rebecca, the woman who, Jared's fiance, she was able to leave the scene and said she only complained of some pain no major injury.
Right.
For her,
it's amazing that seemingly all three have gotten out of this. But
yeah.
I was worried when I heard Kevin Hart is an active guy, a guy who does a lot, high energy. When you hear serious back injury, it's troubling.
No, the car is pretty much, the pictures of the car look super tragic.
Right, which is why I think a lot of people were so concerned about Kevin. But as we said, he's had the surgery, and Inigo says that he's going to be fine. But we haven't heard a more specific update on his condition yet.
Hi, my name is Anastasia, calling from Boston. I am just so heartbroken by this accident. I'm so grateful that he's doing okay. Speed probably isn't the factor. It sounds like the peeling out must have been the factor in it. When you can't control those kind of muscle cars, it's really hard if you don't know how to manage them. I don't know what happened on the road, if there was any debris on the road that, maybe he turned the car and something happened. But all I know is I'm grateful they're okay, and praying for his speedy recovery, and for his family, and also for everybody involved in the accident.
Yeah. Yes, because like you said, those photos were really scary to see.
Looks like it should have been much worse.